Hello and welcome to today's video. Every single Monday the content is chosen by you, the viewers. So if there's a song you would like me to review or an album you'd like me to check out, then be sure to let me know in the comments section of this video and one will be chosen every single week. And today we'll be conducting an audio analysis of the track Cold Reactor by the English art rock band Everything Everything. This is the title track to their upcoming 7th studio album Mountainhead, which does release on the 1st of March next year and follows on from a string of very successful albums. Although they've never managed to top the UK album charts, they've been middling around within the 4s and 5s with some of their previous albums. We had Raw Data Field from 2022, Reanimator, A Fever Dream from 2020 and 2017 respectively, and probably one of their most well-received albums in the form of Get to Heaven from 2015 as well. And this album is going to continue that path, exploring capitalism, which we have seen across most of the band's previous music. Certainly with the idea of this Mountainhead, it's all based around a concept of this society that have built this mountain. They've dug a hole deeper and deeper to extend the height of the mountain, and it's all based around a religious idea that they're going to really throw in to provide this strong concept and story to this upcoming release. So will this lead single emit nuclear levels of energy or simply be a cold reactor? Let's take a look at exactly how it sounds.
So we built a mountain by digging an almighty hole, and on our backs we carried every rock and stone. But now the hole is deeper than anybody ever planned, and we're blocking out the sun. I believe in life and terror. You believe in killing time. By the fingertips I'm hanging on. Sorry, Satan, but I can't do this evil on my own. I haven't left the house in nearly 30,000 days. I sent you the image of a little yellow face to tell you that I'm sad about the emptiness that's all around me, and I can't stop the ringing in your ears when everything we love becomes a picture of a simulation. It wakes me in the middle of the night. I love you like an atom bomb, but I become a cold reactor.
So already with this track we can see many of the typical elements we do see from the band. They never really fit into one particular genre because their style is certainly so unique. They have a plethora of different influences. I mean, they look at things like Timbaland, they look at Beyonce, Destiny's Child, then they also look at rock bands like Yes, they look at the Beatles, and because of that they never kind of fit into one particular box, and we can really see that with their artistic style of music. And certainly the very falsetto sounding vocals from Jonathan Higgs is another element that really helps the band stand out in their unique sound, with this very rapid delivery that we do often see from them. And this really sets the tone for this concept that we are going to see throughout the album. The idea that it's highlighting those themes, the idea of, so we built a mountain by digging an almighty hole, the idea that kind of there's this big disc at the top of the mountain that almost is acting as their religious god, as their deity, so really tying in a lot of the Egyptian ideas as well, with pyramids, things like that, but just showing this society that digs this hole deeper and deeper, and they do believe that this serpent dwells at the bottom of the hole as well, and really touches on the idea of this kind of trying to feed the rich, the kind of the lower class really helping the upper class who are kind of seen at the top of the mountain. So we do often see this idea of society shown through heights, shown through the pinnacle and the top of the point almost, and the kind of percentages in triangles and things like that. So really kind of bringing in lots of ideas of capitalism just through some of the metaphoric language they are actually using. The idea that this hole is getting deeper and deeper than ever planned, and we're blocking out the sun, that we're just constantly digging ourselves deeper and deeper into a difficult position. So you can really see it touching on so many different things just off that singular first verse. Then we do move into the pre-chorus. I believe in life and terror, you believe in killing time, by the fingertips I'm hanging on. So really hanging on for dear life almost, kind of the destructiveness of this constant working attitude. That's really highlighted through these fast lyrics as well, the idea of just the constant go, 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 never getting that break, never taking that time to relax. And then we move into the first chorus. Sorry Satan, but I can't do this evil on my own. I haven't left the house in nearly 30,000 days. That's a really interesting line actually, because I think the average life expectancy in the UK is about 79, which equates to about 28,000 days or something like that. So almost touching on the idea of things like shut-ins, to people that just dwell in the darkness almost, the people at the bottom of this pit. And it's really interesting because they've touched on this idea in previous tracks, such as Lord of the Trapdoor on previous albums. So I really do like that. And as we move through the chorus also, I love you like an atom bomb, but I've become a cold reactor. The idea that you used to love quite fiercely, you used to emit this constant positive energy, but you've been ground down through work, through this constant working to kind of work towards this religious idea, to working towards building something greater. It's about you've become a cold reactor. You've almost run out of energy, run out of steam, and now you almost lay dormant as a person. So much being crammed just into this first minute or so of this track, and really showing that the emphasis that the band really do put on some of these concepts they love to throw into their albums.
So dark the supermarket, some of us stayed in the pit because it felt so comfortable to dwell below. We made the mountain bigger, though we had forgotten why. It's a dream I'm in with you. And I saw this hanging far above the head of man. Can you see the steel is glittering? So Satan, but I can't do this evil on my own. I haven't left the house in nearly 30,000 days. I sent you the image of a little yellow face to tell you that I'm sad about the emptiness that's all around me. And I can't stop the ringing in your ears when everything we love becomes a picture of a simulation. It wakes me in the middle of the night. I love you like an atom bomb, but I become a cold reactor. And maybe I go missing in the rain. If God is in the mountain, he won't answer me a single question. Like, why does everybody feel the same? The slow degeneration and the crying out of mercy. Just look into my jet electric eyes and see a blue reflection of the world inside a black dimension. It wakes me in the middle of the night. I love you like an atom bomb, and I become a cold reactor.
Okay, I'm loving some of these very clever lyrics that we have really got coming in. That pre-chorus, in the night the sword is hanging far above the head of man, can you see the steel is glittering? It actually references the sword of Damocles and the idea who he was served as a king for a day, but he had a sword held above his head, suspended above his head by a single hair. That threat of death kind of looming over him. So kind of touches on the idea of societal issues, the fact that one wrong move could lead to our ultimate destruction, certainly referencing in the ideas of nuclear ideas as well, a nuclear holocaust, nuclear explosions, the damage that they can certainly do. So really blending in some of these ideas with these very historic ideas as well. The idea of this mountain, the ideas of linking in these almost Egyptian ideas that are really coming through. So I love how well crafted the lyrics are to this track, despite the fact that there are so many different lyrics. It's not super repetitive. We've got two separate choruses almost to really show the power and the emphasis they've really put into this idea in setting the scene for this upcoming album and really kind of building the society, doing a lot of world building with this particular track, but also touching on so many different ideas. And that's one thing I really do love. And maybe I'll go missing in the rain, the idea of just disappearing, kind of getting away from everything, the idea of kind of a very sad society as well, the idea of it's a simulation when everything we love becomes a picture of a simulation. So really showing this loss of emotion almost, that everything's become quite robotic. It wakes me in the middle of the night. I love you like an atom bomb, but I've become a cold reactor. So that kind of fear, that jumping to an awake state because you're just so panicked and you feel so deflated and so almost downtrodden almost. So I really like lots of these elements they're really bringing in about society as a whole, kind of working towards nothing, kind of not feeling anything. It's something we have seen a lot of artists really start to focus on. So I'm really loving just some of these ideas. Just look into my jet electric eyes and see a blue reflection of a world inside a black dimension. So there is that glimmer of hope, almost that speck of blue inside this black dimension, this blackness, this emptiness that people are feeling because they've become this cold reactor and are kind of devoid of any feelings.
Now you're gonna see what's underneath. I'm sorry, Satan. Sorry, Satan. And I can't stop the ringing in your ears when everything we love becomes a picture of a simulation. It wakes me in the middle of the night. I love you like an atom bomb, but I become a cold reactor.
Well, what a great introduction to this upcoming 7th studio album. I certainly was very impressed with that track. So much depth in the actual lyrics themselves, in building this world and really setting this tone for what they want to explore with this upcoming album. I think it certainly does it beautifully by exploring some of the ideas we've seen in previous albums, referencing to previous tracks, and really just showing so much depth. It's something I really love about this band that really helps them stand out with a lot of their albums, because there's so much, but there's probably a few points that I haven't quite covered that's really just etched in there, really showing lots of different ideas about socialism, capitalism, and some of the many things that they do love to cover in their music. But I love how the way they build it around this idea of this religion, the idea of this Mountainhead, this person that believes in kind of constantly lowering this bottom level almost to make the mountain look higher, to kind of show the greatness of certain people by kind of constantly through different kind of almost eons of time just continue to dig this mountain deeper and deeper. So I really love some of the elements that they're bringing in. And on the musical side as well, I love the very prominent bass line that we have got throughout most of the track, and a lot of the programmed elements that kind of stop them just simply being a rock band. It allows them to really play around with these different sounds, with these programmed elements that come in, and they give it almost an uplifting style, which is quite interesting when the actual lyrics kind of talk about being a cold reactor, about being devoid of any emotion. So it's a really interesting mix that they have got, but really fits in quite well with their art rock style that they do love to include in their music. So that will be everything for today's video, but as always, feel free to let me know your thoughts about this track in the comments section below. How do you feel it lives up to some of their previous tracks if you have heard them before? And if you haven't, I would certainly recommend checking out some of the band's other albums. Certainly Get to Heaven from 2015 if you want to hear what is considered to be the peak of their music. But if they can produce more music like this, I'd imagine Mountainhead could be going to the top of that mountain, ascending the top to that peak, as it certainly sounds like it's going to be a very strong album if they can continue this kind of sound. Also, if you'd like to see more content like this, then please do feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next audio analysis.